The final match of Week 9 is here. The final game, the final chance of the e-commerce wars for Jingdong to claim a chance at their final playoff spot. Whereas Suning, with a win here, they eliminate Jingdong completely from the playoffs and lock themselves in as well, along with RNG. This is a huge match. We've seen AD carries popping off in Game 1. We've seen them popping off in Game 2. Raz, who's popping off in Game 3?
Oh, damn. Okay, well, I would say, this is a rough one. RNG.
Okay.
Because
who's he not here?
You already mentioned it. The fact that Suning Gaming have not only their own hopes going into playoffs riding on this, but also RNG. Suning Gaming win this one. RNG also locks their spot into the playoffs. That's important to hit. So it seems like it's 2v1 straight from the get-go. The energy's starting to flow into Suning Gaming, and Jingdong have to fight it back. The morale was definitely a large boost to Jingdong. The fact that they were able to take a win in that kind of fashion. I don't know if you guys, please rewatch the game and only look at the player cameras.
Yeah.
Because Loken was throwing his arms up with nearly every kill. There were certain team fights where he was just so damn animated.
Hands off the keyboard.
100%. Probably want to watch out just in case if someone tries to snipe you. But no, he had it. He was safe in those positions.
But like you said, I mean, this is a rivalry both on and off stage between these teams, and that it's coming back to a Game 3. Last time we saw these teams, Jingdong took the series 2-1, so they own the head-to-head. It doesn't matter as far as playoffs is concerned. It's about pride at this point. Raz, who is taking this? Is it Jingdong upsetting once again to try to fight for playoffs, or will Suning claim their spot?
I would ordinarily say that Suning would take this because I think they're a better team. They chose red side. That's a bit of a spoiler. They were going up against the Swain and the Galio pick. I think for them, especially with the picks that we saw in the last game, they needed to be on blue side, so I'll give it to Jingdong.
Oh, changing the flags there. You said Suning earlier. Well, we'll have to see if we'll be vindicated or proven wrong. It's now time for our casters to get us into this ace match, Game 3 between Jingdong and Suning.
Love me some Razzle Plasm flip-flop.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out of him right there. Immediately going for the other team after what he saw in the last game. But you know what? I heard war chants coming out of the teams backstage. They are absolutely amped to get into Game 3. And of course, it means everything for JD Gaming. They need this one to stay alive in playoffs.
We don't know who the war chants are from, but it does look like Jingdong has been very jubilant today. We did see the player cams. They're all laughing. They're talking to each other. It's a different chemistry with Loken back on the team, and probably their last game, could be their last game. They're not crumbling to the pressure.
It all starts here. Starts in the champion select. JD will take away the Cassiopeia, Tamkench, and Olaf. Suning Gaming will respond with the Xayah, the Kog'Maw. I wonder if they'll leave the Swain open here.
Oh yeah, because they definitely are leaving a couple of high priority picks open here with banning the Kog'Maw. Swain is of course the big one on the map. And of course the Galio here as well. It's been such a great pick for Yagao through this entire split, and they will have it banned away. Now, this is because Jingdong already banned the Cassiopeia, and we know that Cassio actually has a decent matchup into the Galio, so definitely taking the Galio off the board.
It was one or the other, and Swain will be locked in. And again, wait, are we watching a replay? Is this Game 2? Because Caitlyn and Karma locked in the exact same first 3 picks.
It does look like a replay. They're going for
there's the Jinx as well.
We do have to say that in Game 2, if Suning actually won out on the bot lane, they could have won the entire game. They were very far ahead. Jingdong got back into the game because 4 kills went over to Loken early on.
Jinx comes through once more from Loken. It worked in the second game when their backs were up against the wall. And Jarvan will be locked in for Kled here as well. We know it's not going to be Galio into the mid lane with that one being taken away. There's no cannibal combination.
Exact same 3 picks from Jingdong early on. But Suning, they need an answer in the mid-game. If they're going to go for a protect the Caitlyn, she doesn't really do anything mid-game. So I think Morgana is a really good answer here, because what it means is that for the mid-game, they just want to play Siege. They want to play a very safe and planned-out strategy.
Yeah, play keep away. Don't let JD get on top of them with the Swain and lock them in with the Cataclysm. So Morgana will definitely help to end Suning Gaming, looking towards the bans now. Towards JD Gaming. So look towards the mid lane.
When you're playing with these types of siege compositions, what's really important is that you need to get the bottom tower first. That early rotation will allow you to group up with your mid laner and start sieging other towers. If you can't get out of your bot lane, however, this comp does fall apart. So I do expect Jingdong, like Game 2, to prioritize very heavily ganks toward the bot lane.
Once again, it feels like we're shaping up for an early game matchup here. And you wouldn't expect any less from JD Gaming or nor Suning. Will be a Thresh ban out, and plus the Talia against Yigao right here. 2 top lane bans in the form of Camille and Ornn. Also technically jungle ban there as well on the Camille towards Hacker. But Suning looking towards the pick.
Yep, Sha'el, one of the better Camille players we have in the LPL, basically always goes for Camille if he does get the chance. So they're just banning it away for him. Zach is a good takeaway.
And it will be the Skarner in the end, going over to Hacker in the jungle. I'll be facing down Jarvan. Clears Jarvan. And JD will have to lock in the rest of their composition right here, Clement.
Yep, Skarner is a later ganker, but it does give you the advantage with the Karma speed boost to try and catch someone out. Trying to diversify their options in the mid game. This is a very interesting idea to go for the Janna right here. What they're thinking about is keeping their tower alive as long as possible. Janna can help you with the wave clear, and she can also shield the tower. So what this pick is doing is it's dissuading Suning from taking the bot tower and really setting up sieges.
Seen the Janna a couple times to split already. Has a typically pretty low win rate. Actually saw it the other day as well with RNG when they got upset by LGD, in fact. So we'll see. Hopefully, JD have better luck on this champion, since this is a must-win match here for them. Looking for that reverse sweep, and Orianna will complete. It's not going to be in the Cannonball comp, but it's going to be very close.
It's going to be very similar, a teamfight wombo combo combination where Jinx can instantly clear out the entirety of the enemy team if they do manage to get that to work. On the other hand, Suning Gaming, they have the siege potential. They also have the mid-game catch potential. And the top lane, they could very well gank for that as well. So this Suning composition I like a lot more than Game 2. They have a lot more strategies. They have a lot more plays going into them. And Jingdong are still kind of sticking on the same route. They're going for the big wombo combo team fight and a lot of damage threats.
Yeah, similar difference here as well. The difference here really will just be Yigao not being on that guy. He won't be able to rotate to the plays as fast, but as long as JD can move towards those lanes as the fights are happening, then it should be okay for them, you know. And at the same time, it's about protecting that bottom lane, you know, about that early game, and I like the Janna pick towards that end.
Yep, Janna, we don't really see her that much. She's kind of a weaker pick in the LPL because a lot of our teams like to roam and fight, and she's more about protecting the lane and getting advantages there. But she does make a lot of sense in this type of scenario. You don't want the siege engine to start from Suning Gaming.
We can see a big shot of Jinx right there.
That's
was a little bit
hypnotizing.
horrifying, actually. But it was great in that second game. It netted Loken that Game 2 man of the match as well. He's going to have to try and do something similar in this one. And of course, that game was really broken open by that big fight we had in the bottom lane. The 4 kills going over to Loken very early. Obviously, springboards him into the mid-game, into those team fights. So I doubt something as crazy as that will happen in this final game.
It's just so unpredictable how history can be written. In our previous games, Suning was one play away and one flash away from being able to secure the early fight, and it would have looked completely different. This game you have to watch from start to finish because it is going to come down to a lot of execution.
Definitely will. Well, Suning Gaming can get ahead early, but Jinx can get rolling on JD. Feels like bot lane focus once again as we hit the rift for the final time tonight in our e-commerce wars.
Oh, it's coming. Crowd is still warming up.
Fans still out here in force. It's been a long day in the LPL. This has been our best of 3 day, so it's been a lot of games.
Really interesting, the signs right there. Equate Suning to the Lannisters. Hear me roar.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the Lannister send their regards.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the roaring part.
There's a lot of Ares in this game, Clement. There are 6 Ares users.
Oh, yeah. And for different reasons. If you have a shield, you typically do want to take Eerie. It helps your damage, helps your survivability in lane as well.
Of course, we're seeing the shield composition from Suning Gaming once more. In that game one, it was exceptionally strong. Saw that with the Ezreal playing into the Caitlyn at that mid-game advantage. But once again, it will be the Caitlyn here for Fury. And while it didn't really get off the ground, you're absolutely right, it was into that bottom lane play. Could have gone one way or the other. Unfortunately, the second game went over to Loken. So trying to rewrite history in this one. As we look towards Clid into the middle lane. He's coming in for a cheeky level 2 gank right here. Knight's level 1 himself, flag, drag, and that'll be flashed away from.
This is why you pick the Jarvan. I believe Sejuani was up as well, but with the Jarvan, you do have more access to early ganks and that level 2 cheese.
Now he'll go back to the top side, so we'll be able to defend any possible invades coming in from Hacker, who is just looking for a full clear right now for himself.
Still level 2.
That, but Clid is still looking for another gank in top side.
Xiao L is around half.
He's going to see this. Hops to safety. The minion wave was just coming in as well, so it gives him the extra bit of dash range. And then Clid should surely go back to his jungle now.
Yeah, that was a bit of an overreach. If you look at the map right now, Hacker is heading straight for the Raptors. He's already 1 level ahead. So once more, Clid is sacrificing his farm to try to get ganks going.
Turns into 1 flash, and maybe could have turned into a second, but not to be the case here. And Hacker moves into the jungle, as we were just saying. We'll take away this entire camp away from Clid, so he's going to be slightly behind, and Hacker will have the small experience lead right here. Raptors very important in the early clears.
Yeah, the big problem here is that now Hacker does have a timer on those Raptors, and he will have the chance to split the map. And if he gets control of the bottom side of the map, that suits Suning incredibly well. They are playing a sieging composition. They want the extra pressure bot lane and transition that into a mid-game where they're constantly sieging other outer turrets.
And here it begins. The chip away at the turret. Over time, Suning Game will whittle down this turret over the first 10 minutes of the game and look to take it down, to rotate that pressure. But it really is just little by little, wave after wave.
Yep, Jinx does take a while to get her wave clear up, and we are looking at the Tormented Soil from Morgana as well. There's no way they can outpush this. And you can see the effects of Clid ganking the top lane right here. It instantly gave a window for Suning to start putting damage on the bot lane tower.
Great dock binding as well into the bottom lane. It's going to be the Flame Charms connecting, but forcing out the heal here. Mao takes a lot of damage.
Ignite for heal being used. Now the heal does have a longer cooldown. Going up to 240, I believe.
Yep, will take a while for that one to come back up. Meanwhile, got Clid coming down into the bottom lane. They've got level 4 now, so definitely has done a bit of work in terms of farming. Places a ward over the wall, so just providing a bit of safety towards the bottom lane just in case Hacker wants to get involved there, and Clid will look for his first back of the game. Hacker's already done so.
Doesn't really want to go all in there. Jinx not very, Janna not very helpful on the gank, and is afraid of Hacker's position. So he's actually treating this gank with a lot of care. So we do have to remember Clid's job in this game is to disrupt the bot lane pushing.
Try and neutralize that from happening, allow that Jinx to really scale up to become the beast that she was in Game 2. Suning Gaming have a lot of faith in this Caitlyn pick. Want to try and make it work. I like the adaptation with the Morgana as well. Can be helping look towards this tower.
See again, Clid setting up. There's no flash on Knight.
Knight, he's low. And flag, drag, and it's going to be the flash back towards that one. Lands the knock-up, and Yagao, he has the damage for first blood. Now Hacker, he needs to try and run away from this one. We'll be able to do so. But Knight, he's down.
That's really smart play from Clid right there. So Hacker was moving around the left side, and you could see Knight slanting around there as well, but Clid was already in position. He was waiting in that brush for a while, and he actually catches Knight off guard, able to use the mistake of Knight going towards his jungle and really threading the needle for that play.
Great repeat gank as well coming in from Knight, coming in from Clid rather onto Knight in the mid lane. It was definitely an interesting purchase there from Yagao before he sells it back. It was the Quicksilver Sash, thinking maybe I'll pick that one up early in case Hacker will come back in. We take a look at that one more time with Fog of War on. So I did not see this one coming.
Yep, does use the flash to guarantee the knockup. Knows that he doesn't need the damage from the Dragon Strike to finish Knight off. So very good calculation and quite conservative play, but I think it's very good.
For sure, and he's also in melee range as well for the follow-up on top of that. Here comes Xiao out. Chase back, but Hacker moving into the top lane, maybe able to get something to happen. Xiao is very low himself, but goes back into mini form, and Zoom realizes that, wait a minute, this is not a threat, I'm going to walk back in.
Yeah, once Skarner misses the fracture, he no longer has the stun, no longer has the slow. So Zoom being able to walk away quite easily.
Definitely scary for a second as that Dark Binding just flies past Loken. It's going to be good for now. In terms of farm, Fury has a small advantage as to be expected, but nothing really to write home about just now. And Suning Gaming have not been able to constantly push up to this tower. It has just been all over the place, all over the shop. And Hacker trying to push Glid actually away from this blue buff. Yugao's coming up here as well. This will be pretty much a full contest. All 4 members in the bottom side of the map from JD have just turned up to this one, but it looks like blue buff is had enough of this. He's going to wander back and run out of patience. And Hacker gets him towards Knight, so Knight should be able to get this one for himself. So good defense from Suning Gaming.
Yep, Jingdong pulled the blue buff a little bit too much, so caused it to reset, and that means that Suning can still hold on to their mid lane priority. What would happen if Jingdong got that blue buff was that Orianna could be constantly playing towards the right side of the map, and it would be a lot harder to challenge Loken and Luma when they stepped up in lane.
Unfortunately, didn't happen in the end, so Suning Gaming, good stuff for them. Karma will be able to constantly push in this minion wave once more. Yugao actually moves into the top river right here, just gets the spy front. Added an extra bit of gold, and also to help out her jungler as well. Keep Hacker from getting extra damage in that area. Meanwhile, nice block there from Loken off of the ace in the hole. And Hacker looking to sneak into this bottom lane right here, sees the chompers explode, makes his way into the second brush. He's got level 6, he's got all his summoners.
No pings from Jingdong, they don't spot
Few
this.
flashes, there's the Impale, dragging them back towards the trap that's already placed down, and Hacker will take him out.
Hacker's very picky about his trap positioning. He actually went for the second trap as well, guaranteeing the kill onto the Jinx.
Really nicely played. And it doesn't really have to rely on Fury there. It's just like, as long as there's a trap on the floor, I'll just bring him to the trap.
Well done there, and that's what you can do with the pushing lane. It's not only about the chip, it's also about the potential for junglers to be hiding in those bot lane brushes.
Nice little return kill for them. Fury's recall was interrupted though by Mao, so he's going to just take an extra little bit of time to go back to base here and get his first items, which will be Berserker's Greaves and the BF Sword here before heading back into lane. Plus he's gone for a control ward.
It really is going to come down to Clit to help secure this bot lane. He needs to track Hacker and also clear out enough vision from Suning Gaming to dissuade them from actually pushing up that close.
Meanwhile in the mid lane, Yugao was constantly trying to push up, walk towards these lanes and look for those roams. Of course, it is much harder for him to look for those roams in this game versus the last game, which he had the Galio, so he just needs to kind of walk down a couple centimeters and then just immediately ult into a place. So Yugao just have to think ahead if he wants to join these fights.
Yep, 3 Karma came so far coming out from Knight. Has been playing Karma the entire series. And I think he's on that pick just solely to push Yugao in. Make sure that he can't roam like he usually do. Take a threat away from Jingdong Gaming and see what they have left.
It seems like they have quite a lot though, because the Swain was let through. So Zoom is going to be a threat in the top side, of course. Bottom side, we've already seen what Loken is capable of, so shut down one threat. There are still plenty more. Very reminiscent, in fact, of a team like Invictus Gaming. One of their major strengths is the fact there are so many threats to play around. They can win through any side of the map. Now just taking a bit of damage there, but you take a look at bottom tower. It's relatively healthy for a lane like this.
Yep, and that's what the Janna does for you. She does provide wave clear, and you can also just shield your AD carry to improve your wave clear as well, or just keep your tower alive. We are seeing, however, Suning is winning out on the Vision Ward. If you look at the bot lane, Hacker just went in there. He's keeping tabs on Clit instead of the other way around. So that does allow Suning's bot lane to play very far forward.
And no fear of really being ganked. Clit is in the bottom lane vicinity, but he's taking Crooks right now. But this is obviously seen out by Suning Gaming, so Hacker will move also to the bottom side of the map. Be here just in case he needs to respond to anything happening. Right now he's taking the crab. We are spending a lot of time in bottom lane, but this is going to, of course, be very important, specifically for Suning Gaming. A lot of the damage will be focused on this Caitlyn, even in the later portions of the game. Good little sidestep from Mao. Important.
Yep, Suning Gaming looking for a cheese right there, waiting for Jingdong to push the wave forward. However, they might have bitten into more than they can chew.
A little bit awkward for Clit. He's going to have to all in from where he is right now, because he can't walk into the brush, because there's a trap, actually, exactly where he wants to walk in. So still waiting around, now he backs away. Hacker starting to start off this dragon right here. Clit flying dragon over the wall, places the wall over and sees exactly what's happening. Has been control warded out though. And I don't think JD are able to contest because Yagao, who went back to base, this was signaled by Knight. The team is able to converge. So first dragon of the game to Suning.
Yep, great play from Suning right there, recognizing that the mid laner already was going shopping. And that Mountain Drake is exactly the Drake they want. It's going to help them get out of this bot lane faster.
These buttons just keep landing out from Yoon, even max range. Mal just kind of finds them. Haka moving back into the top jungle as Raptors have just spawned. It's gone for Cinderhawk in this game as well. Likewise from Clid. Both the junglers looking to be initiators. Not really the damage dealers of the team, they already have those. Mid lane teleport back in from Knight. We'll be trying to defend his turret. A little bit of chip damage there from Yagao, but nothing really to write home about. Zoom is actually moving into the mid lane right here to try and zone him away. And Clid is in the bottom side as well. Both of these sort lanes are level 10. Clid is level 7, so he's a little bit behind the curve, but he's okay.
We can see the matchup shifting more towards the Orianna. She is weaker early on, but in the late game, I feel like she's just a straight up better champion than Karma. Does what Karma does, but packs a lot more damage and much more hard CC control. So if this does scale up, we will see Yagao be a lot more impactful rather than Knight.
But for now, it really is just about scaling, and you can see that in the gold totals. You can see it in the farm as well. It's been 1-to-1 in terms of kills, but it's almost perfect farm across the board. 130 in the bottom lane from Fury, mid lane 130, 120. Like, there's just massive CS scores across the board.
Yeah, I will say I feel like Suning's strategy has been put on a damper right now. The Janna pick is working out.
Ooh. Especially with Fury taking so much damage, he's no position to really step up now. And Loken and Mal have just taken control of the lane, so I absolutely agree with you. You know, you were talking about the early game from Suning Gaming, saying they have to take down this tower, then move and rotate towards those lanes. But we're 13 minutes in, and that tower is not going to be dropping in the near future.
Yeah, they've completely failed on that objective, and they are staring into a late game composition from Jingdong.
Bit of a scuffle in the mid lane. Knight dropped low from the
Flash.
shockwave and the flash, but the Cataclysm isn't quite enough, and Knight literally inches away from death. Super Mega Death Rocket. Oh, almost walks into it. Knight sees that one coming and backs away.
And this does open the mid tower to Jingdong. They're flipping the script. Instead of the siege team sieging down the mid tower, it will be Loken.
Jinx doing it better, moving towards the mid lane, pushing in this wave as well. And Karma had to go back to base, and Yoon pretty much the only one to defend right here. I feel like JD will be able to just push up to the tower and take this one away.
There's only Yoon sitting beneath this tower. It looks like the other team members have given up on this defense.
First tower goes over to JD, mid tower no less, and all that gold will go over to Loken. So did get a quadra kill in the early game, but he got the equivalent of a double kill.
The mid game still goes over towards Jingdong. Jingdong have the stronger fighting potential with their champions. And with the mid tower down, they're going to be able to group to objectives before Suning can. So the next few minutes are going to be crucial. This is when Jingdong could really run away with this game.
Very hard for Suning Gaming to catch up. You are looking at Caitlyn to go late game, but it's also into a Jinx, and if she's already ahead of you, then that's going to be a problem. And actually, you could just see a repeat of game 2. That's exactly what happened. The Caitlyn could never really catch up through that mid game, and Loken just ran away with it.
Yeah, we thought Suning was going to come out with a different strategy, but it looks like they only had one trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, in that Israel. Actually not too far ahead in terms of goals looking at this Jinx compared to the Caitlyn, just because she's been farming so exceptionally well. 20 farm over Jinx right now, and that's just culminated in a 200 gold lead for Loken. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, about 800 gold. A pretty respectable advantage there for Yagao as well.
You can really see the difference between Yagao playing on an Orianna and a Galio. If he was on a Galio, that bot lane wouldn't be pushing that far. They would be standing on their side of the river and waiting for the minion wave. But since he's on an Orianna and he can't rotate as fast, Suning can actually squeeze out a bit of damage onto the bot lane.
It's definitely true, but it's taken a long, long time. And
Yeah.
JD, they've already taken out a mid lane turret, so they have plenty of space to move around. You can see mid and jungle grouping up now, pushing into that jungle and making it pretty difficult for Hacker just to farm his camps right here.
And just to reiterate, Jingdong do have the better late game team fighting picks in the Swain versus the Gnar, and also in the Orianna versus the Karma. So they do need early action to happen right now.
Hacker's waiting in the brush. He's got Flash and Impale, looking for a repeat of what he was able to do earlier. JD, however, are just going to get the guaranteed advantage of a Rip Herald whilst Garner is doing all of this. Yoon is sitting in Fog of War, but JD, they're playing it safe. They know that the rest of the team is on the other side of the map, and they just say, nope, not going to happen today.
And I just love this read from Jingdong's bot lane. They know that the play they need to make is make no play. They just went and farmed their own Krugs. They don't want to stand underneath tower where most of the team members are on the top side of the map. They didn't even see Suning. They were actually just backing off because they knew that was a potential threat for them.
I just feel like Suning Gaming just got read like a book there because he was in the bottom lane, bot lane backs away, he moves into the mid lane, and Yagao was playing towards top side, so he was never going to get that gank to happen either. And after all of that, that's a Herald essentially for nothing. And Fury will look towards the bottom lane here. It's 2 versus 2. Jungler's in tow. Bot lane is very low, but the minion wave is about to dissipate. And he's very desperate. Hacker comes in, lands the ultimate, lands the trap, but the Monsoon comes through. The Soul Shackles is good, gets the lockdown. Piltover Peacemaker gets the kill right there. And in fact, Yuna would be the one to finish him off. And meanwhile, in this bottom lane, we've got the teleport coming in from Xiao Al to eventually finish off this tower. But all in all, that was a 1-for-1 trade, and Zoom is alone in the top lane.
I don't think Jingdong are too unhappy about that trade because they did expend an extra teleport on Suning's side, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade just like you said. Overall, Suning don't really come out ahead in terms of the gold or the tempo of the game.
It's 2-2 now in kills, but basically identical in terms of gold. Yagao, wow, actually turns around right there. I'm not sure if that was on reaction, but Yagao completely dodges that play.
Spider sense is coming out from him. That was quite remarkable. I thought he was just going to walk into a dark binding.
It's definitely impressive, and Suning Gaming, without that pick, find it very difficult to walk onto this dragon and be uncontested, because Clid's already here. He can come out for the steal or even look for the contest, because Loken walks back into lane.
This does mean that Jingdong should be able to take down the Infernal Drake. That was a cheese play from Suning Gaming. They did reset. They were banking on that kill to happen for them. And with that, they do need to go back to base. They are behind on the item buys, so Infernal Drake to Jingdong.
A strong pickup in the early game for sure. Suning Gaming managed to pick up the first dragon of the game, but it was just that mountain dragon, so no combat stats. And JD are looking towards this bottom tower now. Swain is actually just sitting in the wings. There is no one to contest this. Fury and Yuna very far away from the tower. This might just be all outer turrets down at 18 minutes here for JD.
And that was some really expensive cheese coming out from Suning. Jingdong able to sense the danger there from Yagao. The turn away really saves them so much and even gets them the Infernal Drake.
Man, it just feels like JD are playing with map hacks right now.
Yeah.
They just know exactly what Suning are going to do, where they're going to be, what their play is going to happen. And JD just get away with everything. They pick up the Infernal. Next dragon's going to be Infernal as well. And while the gold may not necessarily show it, JD are very far ahead.
Definitely. Jingdong showing some Facebook tendencies right here. They know everything about you.
Facebook stalkers. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the mid game, you're looking at the team fights, looking towards late game, you tick all those boxes, and who's that? JD Gaming. So Suning, they just need to find a way into this game, but it's rough.
Suning needs something in the next 5 minutes. If they don't get it, I don't see them winning this game. You look at the Infernal Drake, that's an even larger boon to Jingdong Gaming in their team fighting. So I like the idea that they're setting up for catches, even though they might be risky.
Trying again, once onto Loken. You're looking for the binding, flashes away, but Xiao Al still chasing after, misses the boomerang, and he'll back away.
This is, however, going to go give even more farm over towards the Swain. Swain in the later phases of the game is incredibly scary. He scales extremely well with AP. So when we see his scaling line, it's very similar to that of Caitlyn. He has a very good early laning game, and then a very strong late game as well.
He's just scaling on up, getting that side lane all to himself. Look towards mid lane right here, looking for that. Never move, lands the combo down onto Hacker. Want to walk it behind the turret, and Clid once in. But he's dragged back in by the Impale, no getting away from you. Clid, can he go down? Look at the damage coming out from Loken. He gets the first kill onto Yoon, and he wanted more onto Hacker. He only barely managed to get away, but JD, they've just opened up the mid lane. Knight, he's under attack from Loken as well. Doesn't get any lucky crits, unfortunately, but Fury, he's low himself, and Suning Gaming, they are coming apart at the seams.
They're taking the high ground right now for Jingdong. A couple of lucky crits right there were able to force down the members. And just look at the damage coming out from Loken at this point. He doesn't even have an Ardent Sensor backing him up. Those were just crits and the stacking effect of the Hurricane going on to a very concentrated enemy formation.
And that was a disgusting Hera push as well. That was from like outer mid all the way through to the inhibitor at 20 minutes. So that was such big damage towards Suning Gaming's base.
and that's why you run the Orianna with the Jinx. When all of the team members are grouped up, your Hurricane is dealing 360% damage compared to a normal auto attack. That's a massive boost.
Suning Gaming are trying to respond right here, but the minion wave is already getting deleted. Zoom, nice combo there onto Yoon as well. Xiao Ao is going forwards onto Yagao right now, but that's going to be blocked up by Mao. And the shockwave lands. Xiao Ao backing away now. And this mid lane tower is taking a lot of damage. Should be able to take this one now with all that damage going onto Yagao.
Good double knockup coming up from Jingdong Gaming. Knockback, I should say. But let's watch that fight again. We really need to pay attention to Yagao combo and the low damage coming out from Loken. It looked a bit wonky from Hacker early on, but just watch that damage. Almost takes down Hacker, and then a single auto attack goes for Yoon as well. Like, if they get the Wombo combo up, Suning cannot stand underneath their towers at all.
JD are just so incredibly strong, even this early on into the game. And I mean, that was the first 2 kills that Loken has really managed to find this game. He got that solo gold tower early, which of course put him ahead. But now, before we were looking at the AD carries saying, hey, they're pretty similar. But now the Jinx is pretty far ahead of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and look at how they're funneling farm into Loken. They're constantly giving him the side waves. You know, Orianna, Yagao is not touching those. They just want the instant burst of damage, and Orianna's only there to group up the enemy team.
And now we're just looking for the siege right now onto these inner turrets. And honestly, I was expecting this to come more out of Suning Gaming. You know, knock down the first tower, look for the rotations, the fast push with the Caitlyn coming out. But with this Jinx getting ahead, it seems like JD are doing everything Suning wants to do, but better.
Yeah, and this is smart play from Jingdong. They're relying on the Janna disengage, and they're letting Swain get even bigger. So if Suning can't repel this siege 5v4, then the game's going to go later, and they're going to have an even less chance of winning it.
Just get harder and harder. Needs to make a play, but Clear's going to make his own. Hacker comes in, super mega death rocket, finishes off the enemy ADC. And that's going to spell the end for this top tower.
Yeah, they spot the moment of weakness from Suning when they don't have their members grouped up. And Loken, with his 2 completed items, instantly deletes Fury. Not even the heal being used.
He simply couldn't. Suning Gaming without their AD carry loses the top lane turret. Zoom, while that was happening, was pushing in the bottom lane. The minion wave dissipates, so he just walks to the jungle, takes away the blue buff. And is taking everything away from Suning Gaming right now. And JD Gaming are playing so fast.
Yep, and they also have the scaling on their side as well. It's a very dangerous situation for Suning. They're really running out of options to come back into the game. 5 minutes ago, we said if Suning couldn't make a play, they were out of the game. It's 5 minutes already. They still haven't found anything.
It will be tough, and we can see that engage once again from Clid.
Yeah, he's just been going in. That was a 4v3 scenario. They understood that Suning members have already rotated towards the mid lane to deal with the super minions there, and they took their chances right there. I would say Fury might have stood a little bit too close underneath their tower and, you know, gave Jingdong a chance to scale up even harder.
One step wrong though, but you're instantly gonna die, you know. It's very difficult to step up to Clid right here. He's been making constant plays in this game. And Hacker can't really respond with those impales because he'll get it down onto a crucial target, but there's no one there to deal the damage because Fury's dead, and then Knight doesn't have enough right now in this game. Picked up the early Ardent Sensor, has the Seraphs. Here comes Loken,
well.
the classic Jinx gank right here, and it stops the harp right there. You can't dash through that one anymore. And Xiao Ao about to be finished off by this Jinx. Just kidding, it's the Jan who picks up the kill, but still getting excited and taking down the bottom lane tower.
Jingdong just have free reign over the map right now. Suning Gaming can't read the plays fast enough. They're going to need a hero play to come out from someone, or it looks incredibly gloom for them. Karma and Skarner, these are champions that look next to useless when your team is this far behind.
This is JD we are talking about. And this is Baron that they are revolving around, Clement.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking for miracles.
All right. Here's something that, you know, that might happen.
Okay.
Tormented Soil Steel from you.
All right, you heard it from Clement. If this happens, you are the true prophet.
Yeah, Jingdong's probably going to ban me from life. I'm going to have to find another e-commerce to buy things from.
Clement goes into hiding, changes his passport.
But it could happen. That's one way Suning could come back into the game. I don't see many other options.
It's rough for certain. But for now, Suning Gaming are able to push into the top jungle, at least get some control over the area. A bunch of controllers have been placed down, as you can see. But Jingdong Gaming have gotten the first 2 dragons of the game, which are both infernal. In fact, Suning Gaming got their own, but it's still, in terms of combat stats, like exactly what you want if you're JD Gaming's composition. Everything is just, the stars have aligned, everything has gone right.
Yep. They have the late game, they have the scaling. To double Infernal is gonna... It's really helpful for someone like Swain, who relies a lot on his AP ratios. His full rotation is actually 4 AP if he gets all 12 seconds down.
Visions of Empire zones Hacker away. It's so low, and Suning Gaming don't have the vision right now. He's
Baron.
going to have to blind flash over the wall, and it's secured out from Klid. No getting through this man, and Hacker will die alongside the Baron.
Yep, Yoon did throw down his Tormented Soil, but not enough. Klid really steady with the Smite key right there. And pretty much, I think Klid might have just kept Jingdong's playoff hopes alive.
Very possible. Klid's been making all these plays, and Loken, he's there. He's ready to bat, and he does so much damage. He's on triple items right now, and he's one-shotting everything he comes across. He's looking towards Fury right now. Just wants to auto-attack someone. Look at that damage onto Knight. Half Helson with 2 auto-attacks.
Yep, he got 2 consecutive crits right there. For 1,200 damage on that push. And Jingdong, they're really showing some growth right here. They're playing with a lot more composure. They're not letting anything to their chance. Usually they're very finicky around the Baron. We've seen them lose so many Barons. It was a series of, I believe, 5 consecutive Baron steals against Jingdong Gaming. But they do secure that one.
Last thing that Suning Gaming can look towards is Caitlyn farming off the side lane, trying to get as much damage as possible before what feels like an imminent final fight approaching us.
He is
Furious
2.5
on 2.5 items. Yeah, exactly. It's so far behind that Jinx right now. A flash forwards, the ultimate as well. Hacker, he's got no flash. He's literally a Skarner in the barrel.
I assume that still means very easy to shoot.
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay.
Very dead. Top lane tower now being sieged in. Miniwave comes in. It will be taken out here by Suning Gaming, but there's another one just 20 seconds away. And look at the bottom lane. Zoom uncontested. Someone is going to have to deal with him. It will be Xiao Al, but now the numbers advantage goes back over to JD.
If you look at Xiao L's item, he doesn't even have a completed mana resist, magic resist item. So he's basically here to play PvE, try to clear out the wave.
Trapline here is pretty much the only thing that's standing in between Jingdong Gaming and taking down this tower right now. That headshot crit didn't do all that much to Yagao, so he's pretty happy to walk through these and tank up the damage for Loken. This is a relatively good defense from Suning Gaming, though, neutralizing multiple minion waves.
Oh, and they finally found Klid. Can they make the pick?
It's a drag back into the team, and he goes golden. Here comes Loken, the backup, and he's trapped up once again, but it's still not enough damage. The shield coming through, and Loken is unleashed. Look at him tear apart the backline. He gets excited. There's the shockwave. He's looking for the second. There's the triple kill. He's onto the spawn pad. Super mega death rocket. Zoom, get in there. Tank for your AD carry, because that's the quadra for Loken.
Come on, Hacker. Come on, Hacker. Come on out. Are they going to look for the pentakill here?
It's not going to happen. Jingdong Gaming backs up against the wall. Pull off a miracle.
And we can see the jubilant fans from Jingdong Gaming. They did bake a very large cake today, brought it to the stadium. It said, as long as you have dreams, you have hope. And they have completed their run here, have kept their playoff run alive. They still aren't guaranteed into the playoffs itself, but they are one step closer.
This was a must-win for JD. If they lost here, it's all over. Jingdong are out, Suning Gaming are in, so are RNG, but the bracket is still wide open, and we're heading into Week 10. The Eastern Conference, anything could happen.
I believe Jingdong Gaming still have a date with Rogue Warriors so far. A very difficult game for them to take down. But if they do, Suning could be on the ropes.
It would be incredible to see JD make that comeback at the very end of the split. But, man, when JD are playing up, when they just find that spark, it is absolutely incredible to watch. They play up and they beat teams like RNG, they beat Suning Gaming today, and honestly, they just look like a different team.
Yeah, we really did see that UDJ, Suning might have punched him out in terms of the drafting in Game 1, but he came back in Game 3. That adaptation with the Janna, keeping the bot lane tower alive really stalled out a lot of what Suning wanted to do, and Suning's composition just ran out of gas. They couldn't find a good early game, couldn't find anything in the mid game, and they were staring down a far superior late game composition coming out from Jingdong.
And to be honest, I was shocked to see Suning Gaming put their eggs in the same basket that they lost in game 2. They were just like, well, we'll try the Caitlyn again and we'll put all our resources into this Caitlyn. Didn't manage to knock down the turret. I thought the Janna was actually a great pickup here as well, mitigating a lot of that, but while the rest of the map was just winning from JDG Gaming.
Double the damage of the opponent AD carry coming out from Loken, 22k right there. And you can see the gold graph. This one really wasn't close. As long as Jingdong could be able to hold on to the early game, they pretty much snowballed to the finish. Now, Suning, if you're a playoff team, it's not acceptable to come up with only one strategy. We do need to see more changes from Suning Gaming if they are going to adapt and survive in a BO5.
I mean, the Ezreal was great, absolutely, in that game 1, but it seems like there was just a departure away from what Suning Gaming usually look towards. They look towards the early game. Yes, there was some of that because you need to knock down that first tower if you're the Caitlyn, but they usually have more pressure, more tools to be able to do so. It's just like, well, we are reliant on this happening. If it doesn't, then we simply lose the game, and we saw that 2 times in a row.
It was such a narrow focus from the draft phase right there. They had no mid-game to speak of, and that really was their downfall so far. These two are really young teams. They play off of hype. You need to get your players started to really play the game out here. So good coaching, good draft from Jingdong, and great performance from Loki.
Exactly. Congratulations to Jingdong Gaming. Their final form is absolutely terrifying. But for now, we're going to send it back to the analyst desk to take us through that game and close up the day.
Clement, I have no idea what you're talking about here in the LPL, saying that we're not scripted. That's clearly on page 27, line 5.
I see it.
Yeah,
it's there.
I don't know what's going on here. But Raz,
confirmed.
They called you out for being a flip-flopper.
I just choose winners. So anyway,
there you go.
Like immediately, just to go back to it, okay?
We can hear him hollering
just
over
to
here.
go back to it, because it was important when we got word that it was Suning Gaming choosing red side. Remember, their priority in game 2 was just to be able to get themselves the Karma and Caitlyn as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly difficult to find yourself getting the priority picks for yourself, or at least denying the Galio and Swain. If you find yourself on red side, it just kind of it puts you back in terms of being able to get the picks that you want and denying what the Jingdong had. They had the Swain. Immediately, that's something that Xiao Al has no impact in. He went towards the safe pick in the Gnar just because it's really difficult to run a tank in the top lane going up against the Swain, so he decided to go with what's safe. Now everybody's eyes are going to go towards the hyper carry in the bottom lane.
Yeah, the Jinx, Caitlyn.
But like, the fact that he had so much protection in the Janna and the Orianna, and there was no way for the side of Suning to dive onto that backline. Sure, there's a lot of disengage there, but all you had was the Skarner to be able to get the picks. But the moment the QSS is purchased out, it's very difficult for Suning to find that going forward.
Yeah, so again, this is referring to the draft from Suning, the specific order in which they decided to go for. Something else that we have to talk about is the Caitlyn Morgana. They took it twice in that bottom lane. What is the priority in this? Because obviously Caitlyn 650 range, she can harass people out. Morgana Black Shield provides so much flexibility. Is that just it?
Originally, it started Caitlyn Janna just to be able to counter the Zyra Khan. Zyra Khan started to be the strongest dual lane. Caitlyn Morgana denied the engage from Rakan, and of course had the multiple, let's say, laning phase presence once you got to level 3, level 4, level 5. People just realized that Caitlyn Morgana is just a strong lane to begin with. So suddenly, they just had a priority on going Caitlyn Morgana with protection in the mid lane and the Karma as well. So Clement said it, great late game, decent laning phase, but the Jinx pick was phenomenal from the side of Jingdong in terms of just being able to say, this is the way we deal with it.
Yeah.
This is our plan going forward to deal with that, because there's no dive coming in the side of Suning Gaming, and there's no tank line.
Yes.
If Gnar is your tank line and he has a black cleaver, he's not a tank line.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So maybe 6 items 40 minutes into the game, then it becomes a completely different story. Then it's actually 6-item Jinx versus 6-item Caitlyn,
100%.
and it's a mechanics battle between the two AD carries. But much like Jinx's passive, Loken was getting excited. This whole team was just thriving off of energy, and all it took was one catalyst play. I think it was the dive at the mid-tier 2 that started to propel Jingdong forward. Klid diving in with the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and you know what? He gets grabbed up, but remember, you're still trapped in with him.
Yeah.
So all they're looking for is that get excited point. They find it, of course, onto the Morgana, and they move forward because it was just turning into a parade. They got the outer turret, went towards the inner turret, and they kept on pushing. That was the catalyst that you were looking for. So if Jinx is able to get out of the laning phase scot-free, sure, she got ganked, and sure, she's had problems. The QSS, she farmed up well as well, so she got Runan's Hurricane for herself, and she's able to be the Jinx that you fear. And Caitlyn is still on the BF Sword Zeal because she needs time before she goes online. So, you know, they picked the same composition. They were a little bit stubborn going up against Jingdong, and Jingdong were able to perform because Skarner was a no-go.
Perhaps it could have been maybe a pride thing from Suning. Hey, game 1 was upset by that very early quadra kill to the Jinx.
Yeah.
We just don't let that happen this time. Jingdong come back and say, we don't need an early quadra kill. We'll just outplay you and maneuver around the map. Of course, that being said, it was Jingdong constantly just pushing those turrets, one after the next, after the next, after the next, a fight at the Baron, and then that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it's snowball. It's a real snowball composition. So it doesn't matter if the enemy team, Suning Gaming, are the perceived better team, if you can just focus on what you're good at and then hit it home. So Jingdong take the victory today. Remember, looking at the standings, we're going to be hitting that a little bit further. Their playoff hope, because of that, is well and truly alive going into the next week.
For the time being, it still is. That said, we do have a quick interview for you, Clement and Yagao, to talk about their most recent win.
Hello, everyone, and with me is the victorious Jingdong's top laner, Zoom. Zoom, Yagao, sorry. Yagao, I'm sorry, you really look a lot like Zoom. 你看起来跟 Zoom 真的太像了，所以我刚错误认错人了，对不起。With me is the victorious Jingdong mid laner, Yagao. All right. So for your All right, I want to ask for the game 1, you guys actually had a hard time, and for game 2, you guys did make a lot of improvements in the draft. Can you talk about the changes that the coaching staff told you about, and how you were able to reverse this series and go on to win it? 就牙膏，我想问你，就是说，你们第一场其实遇到苏宁的话，其实有蛮多的一个挫折的。这样，那在2、3场之后，教练有没有跟你们讲什么？你们有改变什么方针，让你们可以赢下最后2盘？
因为他们第一局选的是个抱团很强的阵容，然后我们第2把就也选，后面2把都选抱团的阵容，跟他们硬碰硬。
So Yagal's answer here is that the first game Suning actually picked for a very strong teamfight composition, and they ran us over. So for game 2 and game 3, we actually went for good teamfight compositions as well, and we were able to take back the series from there. My second question for you is that this series we did see Knight go change his playstyle and go for 3 games of Karma against you. How did you feel that strategy really impacted your game in the lane? 就我想问一下，在这个系列赛，我们其实看到 Knight 他改变了以往的这个刺客的一个方针，然后3盘都选了卡玛来针对你。那这个有改变你在这个游戏中的打法吗？
其实我今天挺意外的吧，觉得他不知道为什么会选3个盘卡嘛，因为第1把我觉得他会选那种就线上打线的英雄跟我来就打一下，然后就没想到会选3把卡嘛，然后后面2把我就选了也是打团的英雄，就打团就比他们厉害。
Okay, so Yagal's answer is that he was actually quite surprised himself. He expected Knight to take a champion that would fight him one-on-one in terms of the mid lane, but Knight just went for the Karma all 3 games, and in game 2 and game 3, I did go for the teamfight compositions as well and just tried to match him over there. Okay, so the final question I did have for you is that you, of course, this is your first split in the LPL. You are keeping your playoff hopes alive, and we did hear before game that there was a lot of team chanting coming from the backstage. What was the vibe like for the Jingdong team in game 3, and how were you guys trying to hype yourself up? 就我想问的最后一个问题就是，你们这是第1季嘛，然后要面对季后赛了这样子。那我们在第2、第3场前面的话，都有听到后台有非常大的一个加油声音这样子。那我们可以问一下，京东在这个第3把前面的这个心态大概是怎么样？你们怎么样让自己的这个士气维持吗？
其实我们心态都挺好的吧，就看他们前2盘一直在后台说加油，然后我们第3盘就也加油。
Okay, so definitely helped out there. So actually, it was Suning that were starting the chants behind the stage, but we saw them do it and we picked it up, and we got a really good mentality from that. So that will be our interview here. Sorry about my mistakes, and back to the analyst desk.
Excellent to hear that the team is vibing off the energy from the enemy team. Suning was the one that chanted first, and then Jingdong said, "You know what? We could do that too.
Everybody, huddle up. Let's go."
All right. Jio.
That was the worst ever.
That's not it. But still, there is a lot to discuss here because Jingdong, they've won this match. They have not locked in playoffs just yet. Let's talk about the standings real quick and where they actually stand, because though they're tied right with Suning at 9-9 for both of these teams, there is still a path in which they can be eliminated. They need to defeat their next opponent's Rogue Warriors to claim the match win, and they need Suning to lose to Invictus Gaming in order for Jingdong to make playoffs.
And of course, if I'm a betting man, that seems very likely, just because Invictus Gaming are looking way too damn unstoppable, but it's Rogue Warriors that are finding holes within themselves. So
Yes.
of course, losing to Suning Gaming, losing to Invictus Gaming, Rogue Warriors need to take a stand, but if they are just another cakewalk for a team like Jingdong, then that would be beautiful for Jingdong to be able to do that and take that 4th place spot.
It certainly would, though, again, taking a look at the rest of the standings, BLG were finally able to secure a spot for themselves in the playoffs on the other side of the bracket, guaranteeing at least 4th place, but we have not eliminated WE and FPX just yet, so still 2-3 spots left, and about 5 teams still fighting for them. Raz, we're going into week 10. What is going on?
This is what I love about the LPL. I feel like every damn season, every split, we get to a point where it's like, are we really going to find out at the last day?
Sunday?
I guess so.
Yeah.
So just keep watching. Week 10 is going to be a really important one for all of these teams because we ain't stopping yet.
Yeah, we've still got a lot of exciting games to go. Tomorrow, we've got another match of the week because though it's the end of week 9, the broadcast itself does not end. Rogue Warriors versus Royal Never Give Up. Doinbi versus Xiaohu.
That one's going to be a big one. I mean, RNG want to make a statement. Rogue Warriors should be that one name on the list that will do it just for them.
Even further threat from Rogue Warriors to get themselves just that further step. Of course, they have locked in a quarterfinal bye at the least, so they will not have to participate in the first round of playoffs. But again, their loss to Invictus Gaming has meant that they can no longer catch up to first place of their conference and cannot get that semifinal bye. Still, RNG, they can decide their own fate here as well because they've not locked in their playoff spot yet either. This game tomorrow is huge.
Yeah, so being able to take that one is a massive one. And remember, if you're a viewer out there, and I know you are because it's obvious, match of the week, RNG versus Rogue Warriors. That's probably going to be the best set you see before the playoffs itself.
Oh, bold words once again for Barento Raz Mohammed, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do it for us, though. We're all done with the broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been an excellent Sunday, and we cannot wait to bring you more awesome LPL action tomorrow. So on behalf of myself, my co-analysts, my casters, and the whole English production crew, thank you for watching, and good night.